Hello there, my name is Bruce Rain from Brangus Creations, and thank you very much for joining me today. It has been quite some time since I live streamed. Sorry, excuse me, I just had a piece of toast and I've still got a little bit of it in my whiskers. It has been quite some time since I live streamed, and for that I apologise to folks. I have been quite busy in the lead up to Christmas work-wise, and then I have also been doing a few home renovations, so the last couple of weekends have been spent. You know, I put in a new front door and stuff like that. I did a little bit of work here. I put in some shelving over there, so I've got more places to stick computers, which meant I had to shift everything down that way, by about that far. So if you're feeling a little bit unsettled that things just aren't in the right spot, it's because everything's shifted that way about 10 centimeters. What else? I did release a couple of videos. I released a Blue Scuzzy video. I released my review of the Kaiweets KM601 multimeter, which we'll be talking about a little bit later on. And I have some more on the way. I am about halfway through my DIY ultrasonic cleaner video, and by gum, that's taking me a long time. I spent probably 3 full days on it to get to about halfway. And that's just in the editing. That's using pre-recorded audio and stuff like that. I'm having to explain some technical concepts in it, and I'm having to do that with illustrations, and it is just taking me forever. I've got another video which I'm probably going to film this afternoon after doing this live stream. It's only going to be a little short one, as you may have seen. I'm adding to my series of quick tips, so just little short videos with just little bits of instructional stuff in there. So let's just jump on and say hello to a few of the folks here. Excuse me, burparoony. Okay, Retro Techie, hello. He is quick, I tell you. Retro Techie is quick. He gets here first a lot of the time. Just be sitting there with the notifications. Hey, look, that's what I look like without glasses on. Sorry, my glasses are a bit smeary. Oh, that's way worse. Hello to Jeremy Bolanos. Hello, Steve. Hello, Garth. Hello, Jay. Who else we got here? Thomas is here. John Mortz is here. Eric is here. Hello, Eric. How's it going? DJ Craze is here. Micromage Repair. Micromage Repair, that's Josh, isn't it? I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. And Tom is here. Excuse me. So we've got a few. Jared Burma is here. So I have so much trouble reading this. Actually, I wonder if they've changed it. I sent a request if they could change this in the preferences of this software that I stream with, Ecamm Live. I wanted to just see if they can make it so that I can change the background of this so that it's not this really light fuffy color. I just can't read it. I probably just need to change my background screen into something darker. But anywho, it's starting to warm up here. We've had a very, very miserable sort of spring and summer. We had a few hot days a week or so ago, and then it got cold again. And then it's just starting to warm up again now, so it's quite nice. It is, what day is it? It is, it's that time of year where you have no idea what day it is. It's Thursday. Thursday here. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Nothing particularly interesting planned. Kai is here. Hello, Kai. You're still awake. Tiny island of Guernsey, where 50 mile per hour, 80 kilometre per hour winds run riot and trap your ferries in the dock. Okay. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Minus 8 degrees C here. Yeah. Dan, Canadian Computer Collector, just did a post today saying it was minus 30 degrees C where he is. He's in, I think, Winnipeg. Man, minus 30 degrees C. Well, that's around about where Fahrenheit and C cross over in the negatives, I think, don't they? I think it's around about the minus 30 mark. That is just stupid, crazy cold. I've never experienced anything like that. The coldest I would have ever experienced would probably be about minus 3, something like that, Celsius. It is currently 25 degrees. It's a little bit warmer here in the shed. Geez, I'm just talking garbage today, aren't I? So anyhow, I probably should get on with this, otherwise people might just start dropping off. Oh yeah, and I should just remind everyone that to...
smash that like button.
Because why not? Enzo, hello. William D, hello. We're due to go back today, but the sea is too rough, and I already threw up twice in a bag on the way here last week. Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of, you know, sort of turbulent seas. I have to tell you, I tend to stay away from that at all costs. So now I'm just looking at Enzo's little avatar there, and I could be wrong, but is that the Sombrero Galaxy? I think it might be the Sombrero Galaxy that you've got there as your avatar. Please let me know if I get that. I've got that correct. I was a little bit of an amateur astronomer once upon a time. Ah, yes, excellent. I got that right. So I have actually taken a photo of the Sombrero Galaxy using my telescope, which is a Meade telescope. It's a Schmidt-Cassegrain type of telescope. And it doesn't look as good as that, because I think that one's taken with Hubble, but it still comes up all right. Smash the like button. I think I cracked my phone. Oh, darn it. So anyhow, let's get on to the topic at hand here. I've done a nice little sort of clickbaity sort of title for this video, because we're doing that these days, because that's just how it's done. And let's just change the view here. I might have to do a little bit of adjustment here. Top view. There we go. Look at that. Seems a little dark. Oh, I know why it's a little dark. I've got this set on a particular... I've got it set on my shooting setting. You know, filming setting. Which is... I set it at... I think it's called cinematic mode. And it does everything soft. And you do things soft when you're shooting that sort of stuff, because you add contrast when you are editing. So the idea is that you shoot with as much dynamic range as possible. You don't want to clip anything. You don't want your highlights to be bleached out. You don't want your shadows to be black. You want it just to all be soft. And then when you bring it in for editing, you can then add contrast to it. But the thing is, if you film stuff and you lose detail, you can never get that detail back. But if you decide you want to edit it in post-production, you've got all that control there. So there you go. Is there anything? Yes, there's lots that I can give you one thing that I can't do. I've repaired an IBM ThinkPad the other day. Had problems with the keyboard, so bought a replacement keyboard, opened it up, swapped the keyboard over, fixed it. Client very happy. They came to pick it up, and what did they do? They then dropped a gaming laptop on me and said, "Oh, this is having a problem with it's in a BIOS boot loop." What the hell do I know about that? So anyhow, I'm gonna have to try and figure that out. It's a thing called a razor blade, 15-inch razor blade. It's got like a little twirly green logo-y thing on the front, little twirly green thingy. I don't know the first thing about that. I'm gonna have to try and figure that out. Oh, Joe is here, and who else? Jeff, hello. Have I said hello to Jeff? If I haven't, hello, Jeff. Just got to turn it off and on again. Yeah. So anyhow, mini Intel with no sound. Had to use a USB Creative Sound Blaster to get audio. Someone might know that. There are quite a few mini folks out there that know stuff about the sound. There's weirdness with the sound on minis, but I'm not sure what that weirdness is. Someone has told me that in the past. I reckon we'll get some smart folks that might be able to answer that. Why would we have no sound on an Intel Mac Mini? We had a few razor blades at work a few years ago. Oh, cool. Thank you. I may well take you up on that, Kai, because they are expecting me to fix it. He said to me, "Oh, you know, I knew that Bruce would be able to fix this." And I'm thinking, why would you think that? Why would you think that? Yeah, anyhow, all I've ever done is talk to you about Macintoshes. Anyhow. So, basically, this came up on Facebook Marketplace the other day. This is a Macintosh 2CX, and I saw it, and the price didn't seem too bad, and I thought, you know what, let's give it a whirl. Let's make a nice live stream. At the end of it, I may end up selling it. It's got a few interesting things about it. First of all, it has no floppy drive, has no hard drive. Something that I found particularly interesting about this one, BIOS boot loop is sometimes caused by a dead CMOS battery. Interesting. he sent me a link. He did a bit of research and he sent me a link for some. Apparently, it's a known issue or something like that. So I'll see. I'll have a look at that, but I just haven't had a chance to do anything with it yet. Now, do I change the viewing in this? Do I? Let me see. City mode. P. There we go. Programmed AE. How about that? Does that look any better? That's shutter priority, aperture priority, cinematic mode. Okay, all the other ones look about the same. Okay, we're going with that one. Okay. All right, there we go. A little bit more contrasty than it was before. Okay. I just ate an extra large pizza followed by a monster serving of brownies. I'm in a zombie mode now, so I cannot offer any advice on the Mac Mini issue. Oh, come on. Come on. I thought you were Jay from the House of Moth. All right. Okay, so picked up this 2CX yesterday. Went for a drive to Wollongong to pick it up. Quite nice down there. It's close to. It's quite about an hour south of Sydney, and it's it's very close to the water and everything. It's close to the water. It's a little bit scary, isn't it? We don't like computers being stored close to the water. Anyhow, grab this 2CX. Not looking too bad here. No busted tabs or anything like. The front looking pretty good. Apple's still in nice condition. You know, a few little scuffs and scratches. Buttons, the little restart buttons are still here. That's all great. Let's flip it around and have a look at the arse. What the hell is going on here? I can tell you what's going on here. At some stage, I think someone's either had a 2CI or Quadra 700 board in it, something like that. And so they've cut a hole in the back of this so that they can have the little display connector sticking out. Probably a 2CI board in here, I would think. That would be my guess. So no matter what we end up doing with it, oh, it's missing the feet too, by the way, little rubber feet, but that's okay. They go missing all the time. I'll just 3D print something for those. So, you know, it's not terribly yellow. It's still got a bit of a platinum sort of feel to it. Still got the power button, which is nice. You can see there's quite a bit of rust around here, which always it's a lovely little window into the soul of a computer when you see all that sort of rust going on. So yeah, so anyhow, I thought to myself, well, you know, we'll give it a try. As I say, it wasn't particularly expensive. And I was also wanting to make contact with this person because he gets quite a lot of Mac gear, and I wanted to sort of go and meet him and talk to him and tell him about what I do, and, you know, if he gets any computers to let me know first, please. He got given a Lisa for nothing. I'm going to turn the air conditioner on. It's getting warm in here. Cooling. Oops. There we go. All right. So sorry if there's a bit of noise in the background. That is the other sound of the air conditioner. Okay, so let's have a look inside this thing. We've got our Aztec power supply. I'm going to just go out on a limb and say I reckon this power supply is still okay. So there we go. I've said it. Bang. Let it be known. I have spoken. I'm going to whip it out, though, because it needs to be out in order for us to see the rest of the board. So there's Apple's nice little design of the power supply. It comes apart. I have recapped one of these before. And I may end up having to recap this one, but we'll just see. And this could just be a horrid rusted lump inside. But for the moment, I'm going to assume it's okay. Let's go put that down here on the shelf that doesn't exist. Screwdriver. Therefore, it must be so. Exactly. Hello, Mike. Mike, I still haven't watched your live stream. Anyone who, feel free to put the link in there to your other channel. So people obviously know Mike's Mac Shack, but he has a second channel, and the second channel is him playing retro games. And he did an initial live stream of him playing Return to Castle Wolfenstein, and he got to a certain point and then stopped. The funniest part of that is when Mike's walking around, his character in the game is walking around carrying a chair, and he couldn't figure out how to put the chair down. That I thought was quite amusing. And then he did part 2 to that yesterday. Of course, I didn't get to see it because I was driving down to Wollongong picking up this thing. But I do want to go in and have a look at that, because that was quite a lot of fun for the first part. I actually quite enjoy those retro gaming things where you're just watching someone playing an old game, especially Return to Castle Wolfenstein, which I did actually play. I own it. I actually own the discs with genuine code. There we go. This has got like blue tack or something gooey inside the screw, so I'm just clearing it out. I don't know why I'm going to these lengths here. I mean, it really is not one of the more critical things with this, but it's something that I can just sort out straight away. So, all right. So this little guy comes out, and as you can see, it is completely and totally empty. There are no hard drives in it, no floppy drive in it. Now the floppy drive, I might have one. I've got a Quadra 700 that I've got a Quadra 700 and a 2CI that have had major battery problems, and both of them I think had some reasonably rusty drives, but I might be able to get them into a working order. That's fine. I've got plenty of these brackets, but to be honest, I'm going to be putting a blue SCSI or a SCSI 2SD inside this, so I'll probably just 3D print a bracket, custom made bracket or something like that. No One Lives Forever. Yeah, so yeah, Garth, you were really pushing that No One Lives Forever. That's obviously a game close to your heart. Okay, so here's our bracket. I'm going to put this down on this invisible shelf as well. The screw, I'm going to probably screw back into here. We're going to lift this out. For anyone who's ever pulled apart one of these before, it's quite nifty. This little guy here, there's a little push button under here, and you pull it up, and then that just comes out like that. Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? Nice little speaker. I actually gave someone one of these. I had some, because I had, as I say, I had a few empty shells of these, and someone was asking for a replacement speaker, and I posted it out to someone. I can't remember who it was, but I posted out a speaker to someone. Might even be someone in the chat today, I'm not sure. No RAM in here, which kind of sucks, but that's okay, I've got RAM. Let's take these buttons out, which have not been put in here properly in the first place. See, that's how they should be. They should be like that. They weren't like that. Oh God, you fiddly little thingy. Come on. Come on. Okay, there we go. We've got a link in there to the channel. So if you like watching a little bit of retro gaming. Why am I having so much trouble with this? That's a rhetorical question. Don't feel obliged to answer it. I don't want to break these, but I feel like I'm doing something very wrong at the moment. I feel like I've taken so many of these out and not had trouble that I must be doing something wrong. There we go. Okay, there's our buttons. Now, the 2CX, 2CI, these are not like some of the later Macs. These don't have the same sort of problem with plastics. If this was, say, something coming off, say, a Quadra 800 or something like that, this here, you would just squeeze it and it would fall apart. These are very different plastics, and they're not as brittle like the other ones. So I'm going to pop that down here. I'm going to take this board out. He does a little slippy slide to the front, and then out he comes. And we'll put that in there. We'll put that there. Ed. Hello, Ed. An RC. See, signatures of the creators inside there. Mint. This thing is a prototype. No, it's not. It's really not. Right, let's just see how bad this is, because at first glance, bad is what I'm thinking. At least it has a SCSI cable, and it had the power cable, so that's something. Look at that. I may even just replace those. We'll see. Oh, these are like, look at the way they're held in. They're like sort of soldery, rivetedy thing stuff. Oh, got a super chat. Yeah, well, there we go. How often do you see a 2FX board that is all tantalums except for 2 by the battery and power switch? Is it common? Yes, it is. It is indeed common. That is, might even be the type that I've got here at the moment. Let me just check. Sorry, this is probably blowing wind onto my microphone. Oh, this looks like a 2FX. Is that a 2FX? No. Yes? 68020, definitely not. No. What about this one? This looks like a 2FX. 2FX, here we go. So what have we got for this one? So we've got, this is a 2FX. There's one electrolytic cap there, and the rest are tantalums. Tant. So it's only, oh yeah, there's another one. There's so two electrolytic, and all the rest are tantalum. Yes, it is quite common. I've had at least 2 like that come my way. So may I make a recommendation that if you are planning to recap this, replace these 2 here, those 2 caps there, replace them with 25 volt, not 16 volt. I won't tell you why I know that. Do. Get in there, you thing. Okay, so now this hasn't actually had a battery explode. Divisions, hello there. This hasn't had a battery explode. This is really just suffering more along the lines of just really bad storage. I think this has been stored in a boat shed or something because it's just got terrible corrosion. Let's just have a look at this. Now, people often ask me, Bruce, how do you get your teeth so white? No, that's not what they ask me. They say to me, why don't you clean these boards before you start recapping them? And generally my answer to that is, well, because I'm going to make a mess while I'm recapping them. I'd rather just clean them once. But this is one of the instances where I would probably clean this before working on it, just to see how bad the damage is. The ultrasonic cleaning is likely to make a few things on the board disappear. I'd rather they disappeared before and not after working on it. So let's just jump across to the microscope and we'll have a look at some of this stuff in some more detail. So, boom. Now, what I'm really concerned with, I'm concerned primarily with these vias here. So if I look down here, if I can, how's that for focus? That's all right, that's not too bad. It's a little bit out. Let me just see if I can improve that slightly. There we go. Okay, so we look at something like this. Yeah, okay, still got copper. We still have copper. You know, I think we may have got to this just in the nick of time. I don't want to speak too soon, but I see a lot of this corrosion sitting on top of things, but hasn't eaten through stuff yet. And so I feel that with a good ultrasonic clean, we'll probably get this pretty close to functional. Okay, we've got a nice, I might replace that. That's what we've got there is the real-time clock chip, so that'll be whatever it is, that frequency that I always forget, and someone always reminds me. This is going to want a lot of time in the ultrasonic. I'm going to want this in there for probably a good 25 to 30 minutes per side. I'm going to get all this off. We're going to see if we lose anything. Oh, gosh. 32.678. Thank you, Thomas. I always forget that number. This is the old, that's the frequency for real-time clocks, and so I always keep a few spare 32.678 oscillators floating around, because they are usually one of the parts that gets done the soonest, because they're usually right near the battery. And so when the battery leaks, it it gets them. Now this here is a clock chip, and it's a little bit on the rusty side, but you know what? That concerns me not. And you know why? I have spares. This looks a bit nasty here. I wouldn't be surprised if this is eaten all the way through. Come on. Gotta move this around. Yep. Yep. Come on. You can fit in. Get out of the way. Hey, stop it. Hey, stop it. There we go. Yep, we've definitely got a break there. See that? Still, it's not too bad. I was expecting way worse. I was expecting way worse. All right. Now we have to think about what we're going to do with this thing. I can't really run the ultrasonic cleaner. What's this metal in oxide form? Typo 32.768. There we go. Better. Okay, so we're going to have a good old think about what we're going to do with this here. So it needs recapping, obviously. We know that. It needs cleaning. We know that as well. Cleaning while live streaming is a little on the tricky side because it is so freaking loud. So my general feeling is that I'll start off with just, sorry, microphone noise. I'll start off with probably just doing your good old bog standard recap. And then we could maybe try it out, see if it works with just some of these more obvious trace breaks fixed. And then we can try and... is this meant to have a ROM? Oh no, it's got ROMs. Hang on. I can't remember. Does this need a ROM sim to work? Or are the ROMs on board? Here's a question for you. I think I have a ROM, or I've got a 2SI ROM, I think. I'll have to check my, I've got another 2CX ROM sim. I've just got a sneaking suspicion that the ROMs are on the sim. Okay. So I do have another 2CX. I can always go and grab a ROM sim for testing. Should have the ROMs on board. Okay. Where are they? Where are they? And there's a jumper here. The jumper is usually an indication of whether you want to use the sim or the onboard. Oh, that's them there. Oh, I see them. It's all right. Call off the search. I found them. They're just right next to the RAM. Yep, cool bananas. That is good. Okay, so I'm thinking at this stage we've got to recap it. So let's recap it. We'll whip all these old caps off. And then we'll stick some new ones on, and then we'll do a few little repairs and we'll see how we go. Hang on. Sorry, what's this? What's this? What's this going on in the little group chat here? Oh, okay. No. Whoop. Okay. Alrighty, so Kai, you've been called Kia again. Let's whip off some caps, shall we? Little row of caps here. They're the ones that have the yellow band around them. So they don't have the information about the cap written on the top. It's actually on the yellow band around around the side. You will see that on the 2CX. You'll see it on an SE30 as well. I don't like them because when I go to pick them up with my tweezers, I get yellow stuff stuck to them. Oh man, these caps smell. One of the really distinctive things about the 2CX, if someone just shows you a board and you're trying to identify what it is, it's the only one that has this straight line of caps like this. There's like, was it 4, 5, 6 caps in a row, all in a straight line. Okay, they really did not want to come off. That solder is just so old and crusty. Bye, cap. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Bye, bye, bye. Okay. Not a Korean vehicle manufacturer. NK Morpheus, hello. Right, okay. Right, let's get some flux onto this. We'll start cleaning up these pads. This is the old routine. Oh wow, this flux feels like it's getting very empty. Which means I have to start, I'm down to my last one. I'm gonna have to order some more. It's a shame, this stuff's bloody expensive at the moment. This is, this thing I'm just removing here, these little white dots, they're component adhesive. Basically the way these boards used to be built, they would have a little machine that would squirt a little bit of component adhesive on the board, and then they'd have a pick and place machine, plonk the components on top of the adhesive, which would hold the components in place for then the board to then go through a solder bath, and then the solder adheres to the metal bits. So the component adhesive was to hold them in place for that process. Bit of rust there, eh? Eh? On the white there? Yeah, good, thanks. Okay, so let's get this done. Whoopsie. How was everyone's Christmas? If you are not someone who celebrates Christmas, please do not take that as an offence. It is purely meant to say, during that particular time of the year, what were you up to? What did you do? Anything interesting? Did you get into some mischief? Catch up with some family and friends? Eat lots of food? I need a lot of flux for this. Celebrate not working. Yeah, I don't get to do that because I'm self-employed, so I have to keep working, otherwise I don't get paid. So we're just using heat, flux, and turn on the fume extractor, why don't we? Starbuck Tech, hello. So we're just going to clean up these pads as best as I can. I want them to look all shiny when I'm finished. So I'm using heat, I'm using fresh solder, and I'm using flux to just get rid of all the crusty stuff. Do, 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 do. at the same time, we'll also be just seeing what the environment's like around these pads. Come on. There we go. It's nice that they're all in the one spot here. It makes it easier for cleaning. There are a couple more caps around here, but these are the important ones. It is one of the reasons why a lot of people have a lot of trouble with 2CXs. You know, they can't get them to start. It's because they've got all these caps here that does all this leaking around this area. And this is all around the startup circuit. So damage gets done to the startup circuit and then you can't start it up. Go figure. May or may not have had a few IPAs. What time is it where you are? So that I can either judge or not judge you. IPAs are very in at the moment, aren't they? Everywhere I go, they're just like, everyone just seems to be drinking IPAs. But part of Christmas playing Apple II games on my 2C. Awesome. What games were you playing there, Enzo? Just out of curiosity. Three-sider so far. 7:41 p.m. there. Yep, I'm totally fine with 7:41 and having a few bevies. Kai, it's got to be bloody late where you are. Clown shoes rainbows are real. Okay. I'm using some solder wick here, by the way, in case anyone has not watched my streams before and thinking, what is that braidy stuff? It's called wick or solder braid, and it is braided copper with a little bit of flux infused in it, and it is designed to suck solder up. But it also works as quite a nice little abrasive for cleaning these things. So I just use this to get these pads all looking nice again. The goal here is that when I'm finished with this pad, it should be like a new one, all clean and ready to accept solder and a new component. Waking up at nearly midday the last few days. Okay, cool. I slept in until 9 AM today. That's pretty late for me. But having said that, I got to bed very late. I think I didn't get to bed until 2 or something. It's pretty late for me these days. I've been very busy, so I'll tell you what I watched last night. I watched It Chapter 2. Has anyone watched It Chapter 2? Oh, and you will want to have watched Chapter 1 before you watch it. But it's the remake of It. It was originally done as a telly movie with Tim Curry playing the part of Pennywise the Clown. It was a 2-part mini-series, which I'm kind of compelled to go back and watch that now, but anyhow. Yes, then it was remade, and they did It Chapter 1, and then they did It Chapter 2. And I watched Chapter 1 quite early on, but not Chapter 2. You're a fair-sized individual, Kai. No offence intended, but I know that you're very tall. I would have thought you would have quite a large bed at home. Uh-oh. Hello, Adam McGee. Where you been? Don't worry, I've just been killing time till you got here. How dirty is this thing, man? Let's get this little, what is it? He's a D, here's a diode. D for diode. Gonna put him over here in my little don't want to lose him spot, which I will probably forget. And I'm just gonna clean these up. Yeah, this is a crusty one. This is a right mess, this one. Found one broken trace so far. And it's one of the diodes that I think is involved in making sure that the real-time clock is powered by the battery when the computer's off and powered by the... uh-oh! SpaghettiOs! Just lost 2 pads in the span of about 1 second. So yeah, this is one of the diodes that makes sure that the real-time clock is powered by mains when the computer is on and powered by battery when the computer is off. Now, I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's part of what it's about. Just with it being close to the clock here. I am saying clock, by the way. Clock. I think I have a Mac IIcx in my untested pile. A standard king size bed in the room we rent because that's kind of the limit of the room. Okay, fair enough. Yep. Now this pad here does nothing. It doesn't go anywhere because this is only using 2 pins of this diode. So I'm not fussed about that one, but I am going to have to do something about this one because he's meant to join to there. But I want to just check this little guy. He seems to be okay. He's alright. So, what are we going to do? We're going to do more of a little tricky stuff with some... Oh, crap. Fell down. Am I allowed to say that in a live stream? I'm not sure. I'm just thinking. I'm thinking with my brain. And I'm just wondering what's the best way to secure this. Well, what would be really good is a little bit of glue. But I'm not going to do that. No. Hello, Abeleski? Hello. Abel-esky. I'm assuming are we actually making up 2 different words here, like Abel-esky? Abeleski. More Macs. Yep. All right, what am I doing here? I'm just thinking about the best way to secure this. And I think I may end up using slightly thicker wire than I need because I'm going to be using the strength of that wire to help hold things together. Oh, and this is the wire that I dropped. Old man noises, old man noises, old man noises. Doo-doo-doo. Cut off way more wire than I need. So I am not. I don't. When it comes to the collection of the Macs, I have a 2CX. I don't need a 2CX. This 2CX, if I can get it working, I may end up just selling it, or giving it away in a prize type situation. But typically, what I try and do is I try and fill the gaps in my collection. There are certain Macs that I want, and but you know, when I saw this one, I looked at it and I thought, you know what, this could be a good challenge. This could be a good live stream. I should grab this one. The other thing is, not wanting to sound like some sort of arrogant ponce, but there's a relatively small selection of people that can get a computer like this working well. You know, so it makes sense for it to end up in my hands. You know, if there's someone that's just a collector, they're going to take one look at this and go, nah. It's time for a new flux. Ugh. Oh, there's plenty of flux on the back of this. I might use that. Goop. Yep, I'm going to be using that for a bit. Tasty. Let's put him to one side for the moment. I have two 2CX machines and both have issues. I remember you doing a live stream with one of them. I thought you got one of them going. What's the issue you have with that one, Steve? Oh, stay. Oh, don't you. I dropped you, didn't I? You little thing, you. It's alright, it was too big anyway. Let's get a smaller piece. Oh, won't do anything with a new bus video card number. Oh, that's right. Yes, I remember now. Remember there being issues with the new bus. I remember giving you all sorts of suggestions and absolutely none of them worked out for you. Because that's what I do here at Rankus Creations. All right, let's try this again, shall we? Oh, just stay on there enough for me to get some tweezers. Stay. Stay. There we go. Okay, let's get this diode back on. All right. Just looking at the conversations queue. Yeah, so one of the things that I mention quite a lot in my live streams, and I will make mention of it again today because, and that is that this is one of these ones with a 5D on it, isn't it? I think 5D. When you're dealing with computers of this vintage, of this particular age, this one's obviously pretty old, 2CX has been around for a while, you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to have issues related to capacitor leakage. There was a time when you could have said something along the lines of, oh, you know, I'm lucky. Mine doesn't have any leakage. You know, how lucky am I? We're past that point now. You pretty much every single computer of this vintage is going to have problems with capacitor leakage, without exception. There we go. Now, one of the things I will be doing with this, once this is done, is I will be smothering this, with solder mask. Get on there, you stupid thing. Why is the solder not going where I want it to? Huh? Look at that. There we go. I think we're good. Yeah, UV mask to hold all this in place. It will help. Come on. There we go. One of the things I get, I've got, you know, trace repair videos and stuff like that. One of the questions that I get asked so many times in the comments and that is, when you use that blade to cut the wire, aren't you risking damage? And I sort of feel like, well, yeah, but I'm risking damage doing anything on the board, really. There's always a risk of damaging it no matter what you're doing with these things. So I'm very careful. Right. Now, which direction does what's the reverse bias and stuff? Hey, by the way, has anyone here bought themselves a Kaiweets KM601 multimeter? Has anyone got one of these? Have a look at how fantastic these screens look. Color, big, easy to see, nice and easy to read. Look at that. I'm going to put that up here, and then we're going to put this in diode mode. Bing, 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 bing. And let's just try a little bit of beep, beep, beep. Okay. What if I put this here? Open. .596, there we go. So I'm quite happy that that's connected now. Open in one direction. And then getting about 0.6 voltage drop in the other bias direction thingy. Fancy words. Okay, so I've done that. Now I'll just get some other pads cleaned up. I guess we've got some. Yeah, there's one here. There's, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there are actually a lot of caps on this. This stupid thing. Oh, super chat. Say what? Thank you very much for that, Garth. Happy New Year to you as well. This is New Year's Eve tomorrow. I cannot believe this. Here in Australia, tomorrow is the last day of the year. Wowzers. Crikey. Ay caramba. Oh, wow. Look at the corrosion on that. Let's clean that up. I'm loving this air conditioner on my left side. It's keeping me nice and cool. Now, can anyone tell me, here's a quick little test for you. Oh, I didn't get to ask, did anyone else see, I'm sure it was mentioned at the time when I said it, Joe's here. Hello, Joe. Didn't say hello to you before. Oh, by the way, Joe, you have inspired me. I am going to do a video. I'm going to do a little quick tips video on adjusting the geometry of a compact Mac. I was sitting there watching you do it the other day, and I thought to myself, "Damn, I should be able to refer you to a video for this." Okay, copper's all still good. Isn't that nice? Yeah, so anyhow, I was mentioning before the It Chapter 2, and I didn't have a look. Has anyone else seen that It Chapter 2? Did anyone else like it? Has anyone seen It Chapter 1? Just curious. A few years ago now. When are you going to be a guest on our podcast? When I get asked. I don't believe I've been asked so far. I think all it will take is a friendly ask, and I will be happy to be on your podcast. This one's really crusty. I might just get at this with a scalpel. Let's get this excess solder off. Oh no, that's doing it. The wick's doing it. All this black stuff that's on the pads here. Oh, I'm not showing you the microscope view. What a douche. What a douche. This black stuff that you see here, it's all got to go. We've got to just be left with copper underneath. Oh, this blade I think needs replacing. When the blade starts leaving grooves like that, it's time for a new blade. These are actually surgical scalpels that I use. It's quite handy to have them around the house. There are times when let's say you get a splinter stuck in your finger or something like that, and you need to cut it out. I use the surgical scalpels because they're sealed, they're sterilised, so they're actually quite a good thing to use if you're doing a little bit of DIY surgery, which I don't actually recommend, but you know. I have the worst injury I've ever done to myself with one of these was back in the 90s. I think it was the 90s, and I was holding the scalpel. I was working with someone. I was teaching a new employee how to do stuff. And I was holding the scalpel. I was holding the scalpel like this, and I was working, and the person to my right was doing something. And he was asking me a question. I went to go point to something, and I was holding this blade here, and as I went across, I stabbed myself right in there, like a fairly significant length of the blade. And because they're surgical scalpels, they just go through skin like butter. And yeah, boy, that was not a fun time. I felt a tingle in my fingers when I did it. And then, of course, lots and lots of claret. Lots of claret pouring out of my arm. But anyhow, that's the worst I've ever had. I haven't done anything that bad since then. Felt pretty stupid, mind you. Yes, that's right. Cut yourself with a new one, it's sterile. I mean, because it was a surgical cut, I mean, it mended in no time flat and didn't leave a scar or anything like that because it was such a clean cut. If you're going to maul yourself, it's the best way to do it. Oh God, I'm not on microscope view again. Who do I think I am? Don't you know who I am? Okay. Got a few more caps here. We've got a few more corrosions. It's not actually a word, but never mind. I'm going to just put a little bit of a heat shield here, I think. There we go. So, if anyone likes the look of that Kaiweets KM601 multimeter, if you haven't already, check out my video review of it. I talk about it at length. You'll find it in the featured videos of my channel. If you decide that you want to buy one, just use the link in the description. They are an incredibly good budget multimeter, and I will be having a little competition in the coming weeks, where you could win yourself one of them's multimeters. And the only reason why I haven't given any details about that competition yet is because I haven't thought of them. But I will. Look what we got here. We know what chip that is because it's the only one that's shaped like that. There is only one chip that is a PLCC rectangular chip like that, and it is a sound chip. And there's one, and there's the other. One for left, one for right. And you will find that same chip on, I think, the 2CI. You'll find that same chip on the 2SI. You'll find it on the Classic. Think? Classic. You'll find it on the Portable, Macintosh Portable. There's quite a few computers that do use this rectangular sound chip. Alright, let's get more of this gunk. So I'm just scooping flux here from this little thing where it's got flux on it. And so rather than just pouring it out of the syringe, I'm just going to use this leftover stuff that's been oozing out. Ooze. That's a nice word, isn't it? Ooze. Another one that people love to tell me in my live streams, the comments and stuff in my live streams and videos, is your soldering iron's too hot. You have your soldering iron too hot. It's too hot. And any vintage Macs as well. Yes, fair enough. I am in the process of expanding my collection slightly. It will be happening fairly soon, but I just need to get some funds together. And of course, I'm doing a bit of a contra as well. I'm doing some recapping of someone's computers in return for some computers, but we have to just nail down the details. I just haven't had a chance to do that yet because I've been so busy. But the great news that I got the other day was apparently this person found a 2FX that I don't think he's in the chat. Apple's Anonymous, are you here? No. He had told me that he had a 2FX, and then he did a hunt and he couldn't find it. Well, he found one, but it was destroyed, really destroyed. And then the other day he contacted me and he said, I found it. I have found the 2FX I was referring to. So, yeah, I'm going to probably end up being in debt to this guy for the rest of my life, but that's okay. Get a few extras. I'm going to get a 2X, a 2FX apparently, which would make me very happy because it means that I will have, I think, every single computer in the 2 range. So that's Mac 2, 2X, 2CX, 2CI, 2VX, 2VI, oh, 2SI. I think that's all the 2s. Does anyone think of any more? Anyone? Anyone? Your soldering iron is too cold. What? I've been cut by someone else holding a scalpel. Okay. That sounds like quite a story there. Oh, by the way, hello to Lou. You said at the beginning, Lou says hello, and I didn't say hello back. So hello to Lou Kai. And I should also, very important little shout out I need to make today. Today is my nephew's birthday. He turns 10 today. So if you're watching, and I don't think you are, but if you are watching, happy birthday, Tom. Have a great 10th birthday. I will actually give you a call a little bit later on. Okay. Oops, I just dropped us something, and I don't know what it was, but I dropped it. Whatever it was, it's dropped. Ah, power cable. Ugh. Mac IIcx power cable. Mac IIcx is just the dumbest connector ever. Ever. And why has this got electrical tape on it? For no apparent reason. Cool. Jessica Ryan, hello. Tell her when she's awake, fair enough. Yes, I'm not surprised she's asleep. Okie dokie 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 dokie. Going to whip off another cap. This is the last one, I'm pretty sure. This is the one sitting below the ROM chips. And see all of this crissy-crussy stuff? That's all ground there, and it's going to be sucking all the heat out. So working in this area will probably be a little bit harder because the copper helps to draw that heat away rather than putting it where I want it. There we go. Off she comes. This is true. This is true, Tom. You are called Tom. My nephew Tom is saving up for a gaming laptop. So we gave him some money for his birthday. I just did more damage. I did a little bit too hard, and I just wrecked the trace from here to here to here to here to here. That, I deserve that. That was me just being way too heavy-handed. Charlie's here. Hello. So, we're going to have to do some repairs now because I stuffed it. Let's see what we can do with this. Oh, that's my multimeter telling me it's been 15 minutes. And he's going to switch himself off in a minute. Okay. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Right, let's flip him over and see if we can get it from the other side. And then I'm going to have to run a wire through the board. I think that's going to an interior power rail. I would be willing to wager. I will test my theory. Let's go here. Top view. I don't know why I'm doing this. I just want to use this multimeter because it's cool. So we're going to test this little dot here, and we're going to test it with, well, we can use these. Yep. There we go. Sorry, these are these little test points here. Another way we'll be able to test it is by going to this power connector. Beep. There we go, I've got my little continuity there. That's, I guess, probably the 5-volt rail, I'm assuming. I recommend the Lenovo Legion 5. Oh, okay, bought a few for work. They were about £1,400 with 16 gigabyte RAM, Ryzen 7. Okay, all right. Okay, all right, alrighty. So, I mean, he may well already have one, have his heart set on one. He's, I think he's looking to save up over 2,000. I'm not sure. Australian dollars, that is, not pound. Right, so this is the little hole we have here. I want to suck the solder out of that. Suck the solder. And so come on. You need to come out. Out, damn solder. Well, darn it. I think the problem I have here is that it's got loads and loads of crusty stuff in it. So what I'm going to do, (2:14 a.m. Good Lord. Right, let's see if I can get through this hole with my little drill bit. Oh crap, I dropped the drill bit thing. There it is. Got any solder needles? You know what? I still don't have any. And I feel so stupid about that. Because you sent me a link to a video, I think, one time about solder needles. And I thought, oh man, that's good. I'm going to do that. No, I haven't done it yet. Oops, I just broke a drill bit. Now we go to the next size up. See if we can break that one as well. I'm looking at the wrong, we are looking at the wrong camera at the moment, aren't we? We should have it be looking at the microscope. Oh God, it helps if you put the damn thing in straight. Anyone got any exciting news? Oh, fudge. Exciting New Year's Eve plans? Anyone? Anyone? Oh, okay, there's half the old drill bit was in there. That's why it was not closing up properly. It's still there. Ouch, damn drill bit. What cam do you use on your scope? Just wondering. It is an Amscope HC210. There is a link to it in the description. I'm pretty sure there is anyway. It is a flawed unit, but it's still quite good. On the whole, pretty happy with it. They say it's going to rain in Phoenix, so nothing outdoors. Oh, darn. Everything was cancelled here. Oh, dear. I haven't seen Spaceballs since it came out. So I'm afraid Spaceballs references will be rather lost on me. I feel like this drill bit might be a little bit blunt, because I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere with it. I can always connect it up to the Dremel and go crazy. And the main thing I want to do here is I want to just make a hole in this thing so that I can run a wire through it. And I'm just making a mess of it. I mean, like a real mess. It's not a good day. Not a good day. Second one of Kai's SE boards, excellent. I've got a few bits and pieces here for building Kai's board. I've got a few of these little capacitors, and I've got, what have I got here? I've got a whole bunch of these little wee, they're axial tantalum capacitors. They are, they're a 0.100 microfarad. 0.1 microfarad, 50 volts, 300 of them. They're for building an SE board, so it's going to be fun. I will do it one day. I will do it one day. DB19. The DB19s are the ones that are really hard to get hold of now, is that correct? Oh, excuse me. Oh, getting up. Oh, old man noises. Old man noises. Oh, oh damn, I've really trapped myself in here. Oh, Cookie Monster, Cookie Monster. Doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Don't. Have to work out what I'm going to do for dinner tonight. Okay. What have I been doing all this time? I know that's what you're saying to yourself. What have I been doing? I have been getting my Dremel set up so that I can drill this damn hole, but I can't do it because I can't see it. Ah, here's some glasses. And we are done. That seemed a lot harder than it needed to be. Ow, hot. Okay, let's have a debrief on that. Was it really worth it? Probably not. One thing I can say about having now built 2 Mac Classic boards, it is something that you do for the love of it. It is, what I mean by that is I cannot really see anyone is going to like set up a business building boards, building classic boards. So someone saying, hey, I've got a brand new classic board, you can buy it. It's going to be people wanting to repair, their old boards, and you know, the sorts of enthusiasts who have the passion and the drive to go in and do that sort of thing, because it is quite an undertaking. I have enjoyed building both the ones I've built, but if I were to say turn that into a business and say, okay, look, you know, you can buy a rebuilt classic board from me, I'd probably have to charge, I don't know, $300-400 per unit, something like that, to justify the length of time that it takes to go in and do it. It really has to be a passion thing. If anyone is actually going to build and sell classic boards, all pre-built, if someone is going to do that, I cannot imagine anyone doing it for less than, you know, probably $300 or $400 a unit. I can't see it happening. I could be wrong. Yes, it's fixed, Jay. But I knew you weren't here, so I couldn't go in and, you know, test it or anything yet, because I can't go in and test these things when you're not around. Okay, so this is a little bit of wire that I've had to put in to replace the trace that I damaged because I'm an idiot, and that is now going to join up to this capacitor here. Let's put the capacitor on and then we'll join the wire to the cap. It's probably easier to do it that way. What cap have we got here? Are there any recapping guides for a 2CX? I wonder. Have I actually? I've done them, but I'm not sure if I put them up on the website yet. It could be a bit embarrassing if I haven't. Recap. Our Mac. Resources. 2CX. Yeah. Oh, it's one of my nice new ones too. That's cool. Okay, so this is the one that's near the ROM chips, which means it's 4716. Let's get me some caps, man. SMT tantalums. Cool, I put them as far away from me as they could possibly be. Fudgeroni. Oh, frangipani. Geez, I'm going to need to buy some more soon. Yes, I am. Right. Stripe on the positive side. Let's go and have a look here. Let's check the chat. Okay, where are we? Just going back, looking at the reference here. Jay, hello to my fellow Australians. We've got another Jay in the chat, except this one may not be Jay, it's just Jay. Well, thank you for that, Jay. Other Jay, for putting that link in there. So I'm just looking here. Just Ryan, Breakers Creations, the scope and on Star AD407, it has a built-in screen. The screen is about 8 inches. Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of those. That's what I started using when I very first started doing this stuff. The big difference between the scope that I'm using and one of those ones with the screen is that this is stereo, which means that I actually see things through the microscope with depth perception, and that makes life so much easier when you're doing this stuff if you can actually get, you know, that feeling of depth, that feeling of 3 dimensions when you look in. So these two eyepieces actually have 2 completely separate paths of light going through, and 2 completely separate little magnifier things down the bottom. And although the screen things are better than nothing, and I do mean that most sincerely, I mean any sort of microscope is better than no microscope. I definitely prefer to have the stereoscopic vision when I'm looking through these to get that depth perception. Okay, let's get some more flux on here. Oopsie. Come on, here we go. Still got a little bit of flux left on this thing. There we go. Right, so I'm going to put this is the first cap I'm putting on, and I'm just putting on because it needs the repairs done to it, so I'll get this on here first. Okay, nice and secure on that side. Stuck down onto the ground, and then we'll get this wire and bend it. Cade, hello. So I happen to know someone at the moment is apparently building, I think, SE30 boards and selling them. And once again, I look at something like that and I think, I don't know what they're charging for them, but I don't know how you could do that in a way where it was a profitable exercise without charging people huge amounts of money. Okay. Right. There's way more solder than I need there, and I'll get rid of some, but I was just using it to wrap around the that wire to melt through the enamel, and then I'll take some of it away. There we go. That's plenty. Right, so there's a little nifty, neat little repair there. Just going to cut that off and try not to cut myself. Right, so there's the wire gone, and then we'll just do a quick little test with the old Kaiweets KM601 multimeter, auto ranging smart multimeter. I'm just going to pop that on there, and I am going to go to my beepity beep mode, and I'm going to put one little prob here, like that, and then the other I'm going to put into my power connector here. There we go. We have continuity. That's what I refer to as beepity beep mode on the old multimeter. What happened to this Mac? So it's old, is its primary issue, but the main thing is that it has been stored somewhere which has left it with this rather horrendous corrosion going on. Now this is going to go into the ultrasonic cleaner over my shoulder here, and I must let everyone know about my little friend here on the fans. I don't know if can anyone recognise that? I know it's probably very small, but if you're able to see me, is anyone able to see who our little friend on the fans is? Whee. So yeah, this is going to go into the ultrasonic cleaner to try and clear a lot of the corrosion away. But what I'm hoping is I might even be able to get a ding out of this without it. We'll see. But yeah, basically this is just suffering from age and corrosion, and hopefully we'll be able to get it up and running again. Hopefully. Right, let's start putting some caps back on. So we've got the first of 11 caps in total. So we've got two 10 microfarad 16 volt. These are these little guys down here. Sorry if there is awful blowing noises. That's from the air conditioner which is blowing on my person at this moment because it is quite warm in this workshop. Little guys there. Yes, little guy. You know what I need to do? I need to get this thing here. I need to get this thing here. Did it work? Did it work? Anyway. And then I need to get this. And then I need this. And then, sorry, I'm actually just bringing up the studio thingy for YouTube because, to be quite honest, this Ecamm Live interface is just so hard to read the chats, and it doesn't highlight when someone puts my name in there, so it doesn't glow. Okay, cool. All right, all good. I think we're good. All right, this is telling me I've got 46 people watching at the moment, so hello to you all. If I haven't said hello to you, hello. And if you have turned up late, as the stream name suggests, I'm looking at a Macintosh IIcx, which I picked up yesterday from Wollongong, which is about an hour south of Sydney. Met a guy, Max, and bought this from him. Probably paid too much for what it is, but you know, I basically had the idea of, you know, doing this live stream and seeing if I can get this working. I don't know where this computer has spent most of its life, but wherever it is, it's somewhere with probably salt air. So possibly down in Wollongong, because it's very close to the water, because this level of corrosion is really bad. It doesn't have any battery leakage. It's just corrosion from, you know, I guess probably salt in the air. I liked your review on the Kaiweets KM601. Thank you very much. Cheapest on eBay is $450 in the US. Are you talking about a 2CX? Because if you're talking about a 2CX, that fills me with joy. Because that makes me feel like I didn't pay too much for this. Having said that, it's not working yet, is it? Oh, that's right. I already grabbed the caps. I've got to stick them on. Just got to spin this board around. It's a larger board than I like working with, these 2CX boards, but you know, it is what it is. This is the reason why I built my ever so fancy thing. Okay, so Jessica, you were saying you can see you couldn't see who it was. So it's both the same person, and it's Steve Ballmer, because Steve Ballmer just makes the silliest faces. So and I needed to put it on there. So we've got Steve Ballmer's bald head now on my ultrasonic cleaner. Where is my thing? Here it is. Here's my thing. I'm losing my thing all the time. Oop. How about microscope view? We like that. Smash that like button. Okay, so it was a 2CX, right? Well, I don't know if that's just what someone is asking or whether it's what someone has sold for. But if they're selling for that sort of decentish sort of money, it makes me happy. And the question is, if I do decide to sell this, do I sell it with a new bus display card? I think I probably would have to. So I have to find one that I'm prepared to actually part with. I'm on a bit of a kind of new bus acquisition phase at the moment. I'm just trying to get as many new bus cards as I can for all my Mac IIs. I had a TV tuner new bus card for my Mac II many moons ago. There we go. A couple of little caps on there. They were all electrolytic caps at the beginning, so yeah, I mean, there's really no problem with replacing the electrolytics with TANTs. It's what I do with all of the recaps that I do, and I haven't had any problems with it yet. The tantalum caps are very, very reliable, as long as they're not, you know, they're used outside of their capability, in which case they can then sometimes blow up. But yeah, they're a very reliable cap, and even Apple knew that because during certain phases of their production, they did actually use tantalum caps instead of electrolytics. Like for instance in the Quadra 700, Quadra 900, Quadra 950, even in the 2FX, some of the 2FXs they had tants on them. So yeah, so I've really got no issue with using tantalum caps at all. None issue whatsoever. Now, I hope for Steve's sake that I don't get this working first go, because poor old Steve from Mac 84, if he's still watching, he's done a couple of live streams working on two CXs, and he's had problems, and which happens. I mean, it's vintage computers, so you can have problems. It's nothing he's done wrong, but I sort of feel like this needs to not work to help validate the troubles that he's been having with his. I have two Mac II boards, one with tantalum and one without. Now, are you sure you're not talking about the 2FX rather than Mac II? Because the Mac II, to my knowledge, only came out in an axial electrolytic version or a surface mount electrolytic version. I don't believe the Mac II ever had tantalums on it. But the 2FX certainly did. I know because I had one blow up in my face once. And it happened to me right in the middle of one of my profanity-laden live streams. So every now and again I do some unlisted live streams where I don't, you know, it's not my normal live stream. The only way you know that they're happening is if I post an invitation. And on those live streams, I swear my head off all the way through them. And in that particular live stream, I had a tantalum capacitor blow up in my face. And you want to know how much I swore when that happened? So if you're ever wanting to catch one of those live streams, I generally advertise them in the Mac IIcx Discord. So if you're not a member of the Mac IIcx Discord, and you do want to be alerted if I do one of these unlisted live streams, you will need to join the Mac IIcx Discord channel. And that's when you'll get notifications in there if I'm doing one of my naughty live streams. If you are someone who is offended by foul language, then do not go to one of those. I mean, I'm not just swearing for the sake of it. I'm usually swearing at things that make you swear. Like, you know, when you're trying to do something well and something goes wrong, and you go, dag nabbit, criminy, consarnate, like that. Right, so I've got, I think, oh, there's another cap here. You can't imagine me swearing. just ask the Mac IIcx how silly that sounds. Yeah, I swear a lot. I swear a lot. I don't swear in these streams. I mean, very occasionally, if something bad happens, I might accidentally swear. But yeah, I do swear quite some. But you know, keep it professional. I don't swear when I'm being professional. I am Australian after all. That is exact. Yes, mould expletives by Australian standards. Yeah. I like it when actually you end up with like multiple swear words in a single word. So, you know, like unflippin' believable, that sort of thing. But then sometimes people, there are enough syllables in a word that they can actually put like 3 or 4 swears into the single word. All right. So I've got a cap there, cap there. So let me just check. I've done 4, 5, 6. And what did my little recapping guide say? 7, 8, 9. Yep, okay, 3 more to do. 3 more caps, and then what we might do is we might actually just test this out and see what happens. Yeah. Look, I mean, getting burned by a soldering iron is just a professional, you know, kind of. It's just a. Oh, what's the word? My brain's gone blank. But anyhow, yeah, it happens. It happens a lot. I get burned by the soldering iron quite a bit. I mean, you know, not ridiculously amount, but you just have to accept there is a certain amount of soldering iron burning that's going to happen when you use one as often as I do. And so, yeah, you just kind of get used to it. The most recent burn that I got was actually from a capacitor that I failed to discharge from a power supply. So I was on the, you know, on the primary side of a power supply, and it was only quite a small capacitor, and I just got really complacent, and I was working on this power supply, and then I just touched my finger, this finger here, across the two, and I got I think it was this finger, got 2 little burn marks there from the 2 bits of the capacitor, and then I got a burn between these 2 fingers as well from where it obviously jumped across there. So yeah, it was very painful, but anyhow, it's a fact of life. There are risks involved with this. I did actually, I mean, this is a conversation I had with someone once when I was doing a lot of this repair stuff, and one of my work colleagues was saying, you know, like, I would like you to teach my son how to do this stuff. And his son, I can't remember how old he was. He said, you know, is it okay if he comes and sits in on some of your repair sessions sometimes? And I said, look, it's fine, but you do need to know there are a lot of risks associated with this. And I mean, I can teach all these things that I can, but we are talking about, you know, dangerous chemicals. We're talking about fumes. We're talking about heat. You know, this is not like building Lego. You know, there are lots of sort of safety precautions you need to keep in mind if you're going to be doing this stuff. Not to mention the fact that, I mean, often when you're testing things, you're then having to test them using, you know, mains voltage. And although I do take a lot of precautions, there are inherent risks with this stuff. Interestingly enough, that training never did happen. I never heard from him after that. I mean, I wasn't trying to talk him out of it. I just wanted, he was these, you know, this is the kid's father. I just wanted him to know there are risks. There are risks. Cat sonoroids. One of my colleagues is working on a 20-inch revising the internals. They plugged the units, just forgot the plugins. Oh dear. I've got a great little iMac story. Wasn't even my iMac, I might mention. But it's fine. The iMac's fine. It didn't get broken. Nothing got broken. No people got broken. No computers got broken. But for anyone who has ever worked on an iMac, they have the power supply up on the top. Well, the particular vintage of iMac anyway. They have the power supply up in the top left-hand corner behind the CRT. And so you unscrew the CRT, you take the CRT off, and then you've got the power supply up in the top left-hand corner there. And all the capacitors are around the back, so you're just seeing the side with all the through-hole pins sticking out. And you have to be careful because there are caps in there that if they're not discharged, you can get a really nasty burn from them. And anyhow, I was working on this. I'm being super careful, you know, making sure, you know, everything was going fine, but then something went wrong and I had to pull it apart again. You know, after I assembled it, there was a problem, so I had to pull it apart again, and then, you know, and I just wasn't concentrating. And when I pulled it apart again, I didn't disconnect it from the mains power. I mean, it was still plugged into mains power. So I'm holding the CRT, going to put it back into the unit. The CRT hits live power. It actually hits the live power. I'm holding it in my hand. It travels through the LCD chassis, the metal around the outside, then discharges on the case of the iMac. So it travels from there, goes through the outside of the screen, then it reaches the chassis of the aluminium chassis of the iMac, and of course goes straight to ground. Now, as soon as that happened, the mains security, what do you call it, the safety switch trips and the power goes out. But it actually traveled through. It didn't go through me because I wasn't grounded. I was insulated, and electricity always finds the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance was this line straight through, this metal that I was holding in my hands. So that was something else. It scared the bejesus out of me. I'll tell you what, I was freaking out. All right, well, I've replaced these caps, and I think what we need to do now is we need to do some testing. Now, the first thing we'll do, we'll test with the actual power supply, and we'll see if we get any noise from the thing. So I'm going to plug in the fan. I'm not going to put any around it yet. I just want to see what it does, see if it gives me any sad Mac chimes or anything like that. But we have replaced the caps. We're going to go to top view now. Top view. No use of serviceable parts inside. Yeah, I should read that, shouldn't I? No idiot serviceable parts inside. It was just one of those things that when you do it, you think, you idiot. What were you thinking? Now, that's the back of the board. This is the front of the board. We'll flip him around that way, I think. I can then get this speaker connected to there. Speaker. Hello, Mr. Speaker. Come on. Oh, wow, those pins are so corroded. Oh, wow, what the far out. I hope it's making some connection there. We'll see. See if we get any noise from it. Right, so got a speaker connected so that we're going to have some noise. Make some noise. There we go. And then I'm going to connect the power supply. I'm going to connect the actual power supply that came with it, which could be, well, it could be a mess. It might blow up in my face. I know that's what you'd all want, but so we get that, and we just plonk that here, and then I might get something to put under here so that it's not resting on components. There we go. So this is how I test a 2CX. Then we're going to get some mains power, which, is this connected? I don't even know if this is connected. I can test. I get this thing here. I go switch him on, and I go to mode. Where are we? Go here to the non-contact voltage. There we go. Now, there is voltage everywhere here, but if I come back a bit, I'm gonna, yeah, it's detecting that there is dangerous voltage going through this wire, so we're all good. I'm doing that with my Kaiweets KM601. You'll find links to that in the chat, in the description. Switch him off. Right, let's power this. Are we ready? Is everyone ready? Do the people seem ready? Oh yeah, no, the SC30. No, I am going to be getting in touch with Madeline about that. I've made contact with her just recently. I'm going to make contact with her again. But the biggest problem I have at the moment is I've got 3 of her computers here, and I haven't repaired any of them. And so I really want to get those repaired before I then make contact with her, so I can at least say to her, hey, I've got one of your Macs ready. One of them I don't think I'm going to be able to repair, because I think it's a GPU issue on an old laptop. I don't think I'm going to be able to do anything about that. One of them I haven't even looked at yet. I might even try and do that today. Ren and Stimpy. Oh, Ren. Okay, I'm going to plug it in now, right? So this could get curly. Okay, it's plugged in. All right, we ready for a power switch? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Dead as a door knocker. Dead as a door nail. Dead, 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 dead. Okay, so now I have something special. And I just need to make sure it's just not like the speaker that's not working. That's always possible. It could. No, actually, no, the fan didn't spin up, so no power there. What I have here, somewhere. My watch just went. Zzz. Oh, someone's at the door. Who's at the door? Ooh. I can check. I can check. Someone's at the door. There is motion at your front door. What's going on? Nothing. There's nothing going on. Okay, it's probably just my wife going out the front door. She's allowed to do that. Right, so I need to find something which I think is over here. And it's going to get all sorts of blowy sounds. Blowy. Yes, this is the one. So what I have here is an ATX power supply, just like that. And what I have done to it is I have modified it slightly so that it now has this connector on it. And I can get this, and I can plug this in. Don't you fall down, you thing. I can plug this in here, if I do it around the right way, like that. And then I can use this ATX power supply and I can bypass the soft power. So, let's plug this in and we'll go on. Now, I don't know if you can see, but there's a light on here. Bing, bing. Now, we didn't get any sound, but that could well be for other reasons. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it off. I'm going to put my ear to the speaker and see if I can hear it pop. No pop. Didn't get any sort of pop, so that suggests to me that I may not be making good contact with the wires here. So we'll have a look into that as well, because there's some corrosion, and then some. So, but that's a promising sign, because if I can get this to work without, not soft power, it just tells me that there's a problem down here with the startup circuit. That's fine. That's easy to diagnose. I've got schematics for that. I can trace that down. So that side of things doesn't worry me. If I can actually get this to just start up, then that's excellent. I am going to need to put some RAM in this, aren't I? I'm just going to give this a bit of a clean here as well. I mean, this does need to be cleaned properly. So I haven't looked at the chat for a bit. Does that other power supply work? That's a very good question. I said at the beginning of the live stream that I believe that it did with absolutely zero evidence to back that up. But I was just putting it in the powers of Brankus that the power supply was okay. But yeah, no, it could be stuffed. It really could be stuffed. Right, now I'm going to need to stick some RAM in here. Where's all my RAM? Black Benny. Ram-a-lam. Black Benny. Ram-a-lam. I think it might all be up in the house, so I'll probably have to go get some. I did a bit of a tidy. Could steal some. Steal some from another board, how about that? This is my Spaghetti Mac. Now this isn't actually mine, so I shouldn't really say that, because it's not mine. Now I only need 4. Plastic RAM sim holders, man, just hate them. No one likes them. I would have words with whoever decided to make them plastic. Right, now, where are we? We are Bank A. If we are only going to populate one of the two banks, it should be Bank A that is populated. So let's pop that in there. That's a 1. That's a 1. That's a 1. And that's a 1. Now, I'm just going to quickly test the speaker. Now, one way you can very, very quickly test speakers to see if they're working or not is to get yourself a Kaiweets KM601 multimeter. Links in the description. Then you put this into resistance mode, like that. Then you measure across the two contacts of the speaker. And what you should get is not that. What you should get is, this is a 32 ohm speaker. 32 ohm. I should be getting around about 32 ohms impedance, but I am not. I'm getting what's referred to as OL, or open line, or what's the other one that people, I've always called it open line, but other people call it something else. So, so this speaker it's gone. Let's see if we can find one that works. But this one, does this one work? Okay, so this one's, we're getting about 615 there. So this is 16 ohm. It'll do for the test. All right, let's see what happens now. And that will certainly explain why we weren't getting any sound from the speaker, because the speaker was cactus. Cactus, I tells you. Now, let's plug that in. Let's plug that on and switch it on, and ready, 3, 2, 1. Still not getting any sound. We've got our little light here. So we're definitely not firing on all cylinders here. I'm just checking to see if we're getting any warmth on any of these chips here. You would normally expect, if this was running, to get a little bit of warmth on this chip here. Magnifying glass on your glasses. I have magnifying glasses with LED built in, 5 interchangeable lenses, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3.5. They cost me £9.60. They sound pretty good. So do they clip onto your existing glasses, do they? Because this is the thing, I need to have my normal glasses on, and then I just put these on like that. And that's sort of what I really need. These weren't expensive. I bought these from like Daiso, which is like that sort of Japanese place. But these are 3 times, I think. 3.5, 4, maybe 4, I'm not sure. They're so bad that I can't read the chat when I put them on like this, but I can at least look at this stuff. Okay, so yeah, we're definitely not in what I would consider a completely happy state. I know that we have power going to parts of the board because we've got our light here, but we're still not we're not 100% peachy. Now, it's at this point, there are 2 ways that I can go about this at this point. First step is, of course, to start hunting around the board looking for broken traces, because we almost definitely have some. But realistically, with this board, it is, I think, futile to go any further without this going into the ultrasonic cleaner for a bit. So that's probably what I'm going to do with it next. I'm going to ultrasonicarize it. How long have I been streaming for? 2 hours. Okay, that's not too bad. So that's probably a reasonable time to actually wrap things up, because I mean, we can potentially do this as a second parter once I have this clean, but I need to now get this clean. And when I run the ultrasonic while I'm live streaming, it makes it really, really hard for me because it's so loud. It's the ultrasonic behind me that I will be using. And yeah. 2CX is a 16 megahertz 68030. Is that slow? Yes, it is. It's about the same speed as a Color Classic, isn't it? Color Classic is 16, or is it 25? Can't remember. Okay, so let's have a little think about just wrapping things up here. I just need to go through and talk to a few folks here first. A bit disappointed the speaker's not working. Never mind, I do have another spare. So Steve, are you going to live stream now? That would make sense. The way I see it, it would make sense for you to live stream now. No, the speaker won't likely short. Are you talking about this broken speaker? Won't likely short things out because it's open. So, speaker circuits aren't really like that. So, you know, generally, even if you touch the contacts together, I don't think you're likely to have any problems there. Not today. I have a video to edit. I have to edit a video. Understand? I've been there the last few days actually, and I'm going to shoot a video after this live stream because need to keep that content happening. Otherwise, YouTube forgets I exist, and we can't be having that, can we? So anyhow, just a quick little recap for anyone who might have joined late. This is a Macintosh 2CX that I've been working on. It was a 2CX that I picked up yesterday. I think I paid a little bit too much for it, but if I can get it working and I can get it into a saleable state, I will probably make a reasonably tidy profit on it, I would say. It has some terrible corrosion on it, way worse than you would expect from just normal capacitor leakage. So it's got the sort of corrosion you would expect after a battery leak, but it didn't. The battery was perfectly intact. And that suggests to me that it's probably been stored somewhere very close to the water with a lot of salty air, which I bought it from Wollongong, but it wasn't always in his possession. But my guess is he got it from someone who lives in the same area, because Wollongong is quite close to the water, very, very beachy, palm trees and stuff. Dana, hello, thank you for joining, even if it is late. And so anyhow, you turned up with perfect timing for the recap here. So I've been working on a Macintosh 2CX board with some terrible corrosion. We have recapped it. We've repaired a couple of traces, but it's going to need. It's sort of working when I power it up at the moment. The soft power does not work, but when I force that, when I bypass the soft power, I get the green light on the power, but not much else. But this just has such terrible corrosion on it, it needs to have a clean. So I'm going to throw it into the ultrasonic cleaner now, and I'll probably turn that into a part 2 once it's clean, and we'll see how we go. I mean, it might come out of the cleaner, it might just work. Stranger things have happened. Oh, by the way, Dana, I have just got to tell you that I have never laughed as hard as when you did that image of the little 2-port network switch. You got the little Netgear 2-port network switch. When I saw that thing, I was in stitches. I thought that was just the funniest thing I've ever seen. And I also liked your modular computer that you made with all the little modules all attached to each other. I thought that was kind of cool as well. So that looked like a lot of work went into that one. That was a little bit like the IBM PC Junior and the sidecars type thing. So anyhow, yeah, so the 2CX, terrible corrosion, going to get it cleaned, going to then see if it works. If it still doesn't work, then I'll do another live stream trying to track down a few broken traces, because given the state of this, I'm sure there are broken traces on it somewhere. Yeah, I think that's probably about it. So a big thank you to everyone who has been watching and keeping me company while I've been doing this. Well, sort of chattering away. Sorry, it's been so long since between live streams, but it's just been a very busy time of year. Sort of, My wife's been off work and we've been doing a lot of, you know, sort of house fixing up, home renos and that sort of stuff, and that just takes away my weekend. I've got a whole stack of recapping that I'll be continuing with. Got to get some of this stuff done and out of the house. There's nothing particularly interesting there. We're just talking mainly about classics, Mac IIcx and LCs and that sort of stuff. It's the normal type stuff. I don't really have anything really fascinating here to recap at the moment, but I will probably live stream them. And I am probably going to plan a few more live streams over the coming days, you know, this quieter times when I'm probably not going to be as busy. Mac IIcx Discord. Yes, thank you. Thank you for putting that link into the Mac IIcx Discord. So as I say, if you're not joined to that, and if you are someone who is interested in potentially getting announcements about me doing maybe an unlisted stream that I do from time to time, and if you don't mind a little bit of profane language, that's where I will send notifications about that. I generally put them on the Mac IIcx Discord. What else? Very quickly, Kaiweets KM601 multimeter. Great budget unit. It looks like it's an expensive one, but it is actually incredibly inexpensive. And the amount of accuracies, the amount of features and accuracy you get from this, it is worth every cent. So, links in the description if you would like to buy one. If you're looking at your old multimeter and thinking, you gotta go, bang. There's a review of that on in the featured videos of my channel if you haven't seen it. So, just checking the chat here, see if I haven't missed anything. If for anyone who is interested in the video of making this DIY ultrasonic cleaner, I've had quite a few people pressuring me to make that video. I am working on that video at the moment. I'm about halfway through it. It is a massive undertaking, way more massive than I was expecting. And it is coming along well. It's essentially in two parts. The first part is explaining what an ultrasonic cleaner is and how it works. The second part is explaining how I actually put this unit together and all the mistakes I made during that process, so that if you decide to do one, you won't make the same mistakes. Yes, it is a very inexpensive meter. So yeah. All right, okay. Well, I will say thank you to you again. I say thank you for keeping me company. Thank you for watching, as usual, to all of my viewers and subscribers. I always thank you very, very much, because it's well, you know, makes it fun, makes it worth doing. So yeah, it's great. And everyone have yourself a good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time it happens to be in your part of the world. And I will see you at the next stream, which will hopefully be not too far away. So, it's been so long I've forgotten how I end these. Here we go, here's the button. Thank you everyone, and bye now.